The most dangerous income in America isn't poverty. It's $75,000 a year. That's the golden handcuff number. Comfortable enough to numb you, not enough to free you. It's the financial equivalent of being trapped in Earth's atmosphere, just high enough to see the stars, but gravity keeps pulling you back down. You're in the comfort zone, the dead zone, the place where dreams go to get a 401k and die quietly. Here's what nobody tells you. Stability is a predator. It hunts slowly. It doesn't attack, it sedates. Every 2 weeks, your paycheck drops. Dopamine hits. Your brain whispers, "See, you're safe." But safe is the most expensive word in the English language. Because while you're collecting your steady paycheck, someone else is building a rocket. And rockets don't care about your feelings. They care about escape velocity. Think of wealth creation like orbital mechanics. You're standing on Earth. That's your salary. Stable ground beneath your feet. To break free, you need 25,000 miles per hour of velocity. Not 24,000. Not 24,999. Exactly 25,000. Or you fall back down. Your middle-class income? That's 15,000 miles per hour. Fast enough to feel like you're moving. Not fast enough to escape. You're just burning fuel, going in circles, calling it progress. The physics are brutal and simple. You can't tiptoe into orbit. You can't save your way there. You need explosive force, concentrated energy, risk. But your brain, your beautiful, survival-optimized pattern recognition machine, is screaming at you to stay put. Because for 200,000 years, stay put kept your ancestors alive. Today, it keeps you employed, insured, and broke. Let me show you the trap. It has 4 chambers, each one designed perfectly by evolution and exploited brilliantly by the system. You're caught in all 4 right now. You just don't see the bars yet. The certainty tax. This is the first trap. Your brain runs on prediction. It craves patterns. When you get a regular paycheck, your amygdala, the fear center, goes quiet. Cortisol drops. Serotonin rises. You feel relief. Not joy, relief. There's a difference. Joy is what you feel when you win. Relief is what you feel when you stop losing. Your salary isn't making you rich. It's making you not anxious. That's a drug. And like all drugs, you build tolerance. Year 1, $75,000 feels amazing. Year 5, it feels normal. Year 10, it feels like a prison you decorated yourself. Duke University researchers ran a study in 2019 tracking 12,000 professionals over 15 years. They measured cortisol levels, decision-making patterns, and wealth accumulation. The finding? People with variable income, freelancers, entrepreneurs, commission-based workers, had 30% higher stress hormones daily. But they accumulated 340% more wealth over the same period. Their brains stayed sharp, hungry, alert. The salaried workers? Lower stress, lower cortisol, and bank accounts that barely kept pace with inflation. They paid for calm with their future. They rented peace from their potential. Your steady paycheck is a cortisol suppressor. It's Xanax for ambition. Every 2 weeks, your brain gets confirmation. The pattern holds. The world is predictable. Don't rock the boat. So you don't. You optimize for not losing instead of winning. You stop seeing opportunities because your brain is busy seeing paychecks. Wealthy people don't avoid fear. They use it. Fear tells them where the edge is, where the leverage lives. Your salary teaches you to avoid the edge, to stay in the middle, to be average, on purpose. Here's the exit. Treat your salary like training wheels, not the bike. Use it to build a runway, not a lifestyle. Every dollar you earn salaried should be fuel for the rocket, not furniture for the apartment. Rich people use employment income to buy assets. Poor people use it to rent comfort. That's the only difference that matters. The question isn't, how much do you make? It's, what does your money do after you get it? If it buys Netflix, car payments, and weekend brunches, you're paying the certainty tax. If it buys rental properties, index funds, or skills that compound, you're building escape velocity. The lifestyle inflation ratchet. This is trap number 2, more insidious, more invisible. Your salary goes up. Your life expands to match. Always. It's not greed. It's biology. Hedonic adaptation. Scientists call it the hedonic treadmill. You call it, I deserve this. Both are correct. Both are killing you. Here's how it works. You get a raise, dopamine spike. Your brain lights up like a Christmas tree. For 3 weeks, you feel rich. Then, baseline resets. The new normal becomes normal. So you upgrade. Bigger apartment, newer car, restaurants with cloth napkins. Each upgrade feels like progress. None of them build wealth. They're just higher resolution poverty. You're earning more, spending more, and arriving at the same place. 0 net gain. The treadmill speeds up. You run faster. The destination never gets closer. Columbia University economists tracked 8,400 households from 2005 to 2020. Middle-income earners who received raises of 20% or more adjusted their spending within 18 months to consume 94% of the increase. Not 50%, not 70%, 94%. The money came in, the money went out. Lifestyle absorbed it like a sponge. Meanwhile, high net worth individuals, people with $5 million or more in investable assets, absorbed raises differently. They consumed only 22% of income increases. The rest went to assets, investments, equity, things that grow while they sleep. The difference isn't values, it's systems. Middle-class earners optimize monthly cash flow. Rich people optimize asset accumulation. When you get a raise, your brain asks, what can I afford now? That's the wrong question. The right question is, what can I own now? Afford is renting. Owning is buying. One makes you comfortable. The other makes you free. Your brain isn't wired for this. Evolution optimized you for immediate reward. Hunt, eat, survive today. There was no retirement in the Pleistocene, no compound interest. Your ancestors who delayed gratification for abstract future benefits, they starved. You descend from the ones who ate the berry now. That instinct is still running your financial decisions. Every time you get paid more, your brain screams, upgrade the cave, better tools, softer furs. It doesn't scream, buy dividend-paying stocks, because stocks didn't exist when your neural architecture was being built. This is why lottery winners go broke, why athletes earning $10 million a year file bankruptcy, why doctors making $400,000 live paycheck to paycheck. Income rises, lifestyle rises faster. The gap stays 0, or worse, negative. They're sprinting on the treadmill at maximum speed, convinced they're winning because they're sweating more. But the wall isn't getting closer. It never does. Here's the exit. Automate the gap. When your income rises, immediately, not eventually, immediately, automate the difference into assets. Get a $10,000 raise? $800 a month extra. Before your brain sees it, route $600 to index funds. Let lifestyle inflate by $200. You still feel progress, but you're capturing 75% of the gain, not 6%. Do this for a decade, and you're not on the treadmill anymore. You're on the rocket. Most people do the opposite. They see the raise, they feel the dopamine, they upgrade first. Then they promise themselves they'll invest later or when things stabilize. Things never stabilize. Lifestyle always expands. The gap closes. The trap locks. Rich people have a rule. Lifestyle lags income by 5 years. They earn like it's 2024. They spend like it's 2019. The difference? That's the rocket fuel. That's escape velocity. You're doing the opposite. You're spending like it's 2025 and earning like it's 2024. That's why you're stuck. The optionality erosion engine. Trap number 3, the silent killer. Every month you work for a salary, you lose options, not gain them. This sounds backwards. It is backwards. That's why it works so well. Here's the mechanism. You take a job. Salary, benefits, title, feels like progress. It is progress. For 12 months. Then the erosion starts. Your skills narrow to what the job requires. Your network becomes your coworkers. Your daily decisions shrink to what your boss approves. Your income ceiling is set by HR policy, not market value. You're building someone else's rocket. Your own? Rusting in the garage. This isn't about loyalty or ethics. It's about opportunity cost. Every hour you trade for a fixed wage is an hour you're not building equity, not testing new skills, not failing fast and learning faster. You're renting out your time at a fixed rate, while the market value of that time fluctuates wildly. Some days your hour is worth $100, some days $1,000, but you get paid $45 either way. You've locked in the worst possible deal. Fixed upside, infinite downside. If your company craters, you're gone. If it 10 times, you get a 3% raise and a pizza party. Wealthy people don't trade time for money. They trade money for time, then convert that time into assets. They pay $50,000 to buy 6 months of runway. Then they use those 6 months to build something worth $500,000. They lose money in the short term. They print optionality in the long term. You do the opposite. You take the sure $50,000 salary. You eliminate the risk. You also eliminate the upside. You've traded optionality for certainty. That trade works great in the Stone Age. It's financial suicide in the information age. Stanford researchers in 2021 analyzed career trajectories of 15,000 knowledge workers over 20 years. They found that professionals who stayed in salaried positions for more than 7 consecutive years saw their market value plateau and then decline. Not because they got worse, because the market moved faster than their learning curve. Their skills became company-specific. Their networks became industry-specific. Their thinking became role-specific. They became optimized for one environment, fragile everywhere else. When disruption came, and it always comes, they had no options, no pivot points, no plan B. Meanwhile, people who cycled between employment, freelancing, and entrepreneurship every 3 to 5 years, their market value compounded. Each cycle added new skills, new networks, new perspectives. They became anti-fragile. Disruption didn't destroy them. It created opportunities they were uniquely positioned to capture. They had options, plural. Salary lifers had one option: hope the company doesn't downsize. Your salary isn't just costing you money, it's costing you futures. Every year you stay, you're closing doors, not opening them. You think you're building security, you're building dependency. There's a difference. Security is, I can thrive in multiple scenarios. Dependency is, I need this specific scenario to survive. Your middle-class salary job? That's dependency dressed up as security. One recession, one automation wave, one industry shift, and you're exposed. Here's the exit. Build asymmetric bets on the side. Not side hustles, not passive income. Asymmetric bets. Things where the downside is capped and the upside is exponential. You risk $5,000 and 6 months. You might lose both. Or you might build a $500,000 asset. That's 100-to-1 return potential. Your salary? That's 1-to-1 at best. You trade 2,000 hours for $75,000. Linear, capped, predictable, safe, deadly. Rich people collect options like baseball cards. They start businesses knowing 70% will fail. They don't care. The 30% that work return 10 times, 50 times, 100 times. They're not playing for batting average. They're playing for home runs. You're optimizing for singles. Consistent, reliable, predictable singles. You'll never strike out. You'll also never score big. The game isn't won by singles. It's won by the occasional massive hit that pays for all the misses and then some. The question isn't, is my job secure? The question is, if this job disappeared tomorrow, how many paths forward do I have? If the answer is 1, you're not secure. You're trapped. Big difference. The social proof spiral. Trap 4. The most invisible. The most powerful. Your friends have jobs. Your family has jobs. Your neighbors have jobs. Everyone around you trades time for money, calls it success, and sleeps well at night. So you do too. This isn't peer pressure, it's social proof. Your brain uses the crowd as a shortcut for correct behavior. If everyone's doing it, it must be right. Except when everyone's wrong. And in wealth creation, everyone is wrong. Daniel Kahneman, the psychologist who won a Nobel Prize in economics, called this availability cascade. An idea becomes true not because it's accurate, but because it's repeated. Get a good job, work hard, save for retirement. You'll be fine. You've heard this 10,000 times. From parents, teachers, friends, TV, movies, society. Repetition creates belief. Belief creates behavior. Behavior creates results. And the results? 64% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, including people earning 6 figures. The advice everyone follows leads to the outcome everyone complains about. But nobody questions the advice, because everyone's following it. This is the spiral. You see your peers buying houses with 30-year mortgages, so you do. You see them leasing new cars, so you do. You see them taking predictable career paths, so you do. Not because you analyzed the math, because the tribe validated the choice. Your brain relaxes. If everyone's doing it, the risk must be low. Wrong. If everyone's doing it, the opportunity cost is enormous. Because the crowd is always late, always reactive, always optimizing for social comfort, not financial freedom. Yale researchers in 2018 studied investment behavior across 50,000 individuals. They found that people were 6 times more likely to make a financial decision if 3 or more peers had made it first. Not because the decision was better, because it felt safer. Social proof eliminated perceived risk. It also eliminated asymmetric upside. By the time everyone is doing something, the easy money is gone. The first people into real estate, crypto, index funds, tech stocks, they got 100 times returns. The crowd that followed, they got 2 times. Or worse, they bought the top. Social proof isn't wisdom. It's a lagging indicator dressed up as validation. Here's what this looks like in real life. You tell your friends you're thinking about starting a business. They look concerned. That's risky. What about health insurance? What about stability? They're not being mean. They're being protective. Because in their world, the world of salaries and predictable outcomes, what you're describing is insane. It violates the social contract, the unspoken agreement that we all trade time for money, call it success, and don't rock the boat. When you deviate, you threaten the narrative. You make them question their choices, so they pull you back, not with malice, with care, with love, with advice that keeps you exactly where they are. Rich people have different friends, not better, different. Their peer group rewards asymmetric bets, celebrates calculated risks, shares deal flow, not job postings. When someone in their circle quits a $200,000 salary to start a company, nobody asks about health insurance. They ask about equity structure. They offer to invest, or introduce customers, or share lessons from their own failures. The conversation isn't, "Are you sure that's safe?" It's, "How can I help you win?" Different peer group, different results. Your network isn't just who you know. It's who shapes what you think is possible. If everyone around you caps out at $150,000 a year, that becomes your ceiling. Not because you're not capable of more, because you can't see more. Your reference points are limited. Your imagination is constrained. You're flying a rocket with a map that only shows ground-level roads. The territory exists, but your map doesn't include it. Here's the exit. Curate your inputs, ruthlessly. Unfollow people whose default advice is, be careful. Follow people building what you want to build. Not for inspiration, for calibration. You need to reprogram what your brain considers normal. Right now, normal is a salary, job security, benefits, retirement at 65. That's normal because that's what you see. Change what you see. Read different books, join different communities, attend different events. Literally change your information diet until your brain recalibrates what's possible, what's risky, and what's normal. This doesn't mean abandon your friends. It means add new reference points. If your current network thinks $100,000 is doing well, find a network where $100,000 is the starting point. Not to feel inadequate, to expand your map, to see the territory you couldn't see before. Your brain will resist. It'll feel uncomfortable, foreign, fake. Good. That's the sign you're growing. Comfort is the enemy, remember? The mathematics of compounding versus linear growth. Here's where biology meets economics. Your salary grows linearly, maybe 3% a year if you're lucky. Assets grow exponentially. The difference compounds over decades into different universes. Let's run the math. You're 30 years old. You make $75,000 a year. You get 3% annual raises. By 60, you're earning $182,000. Sounds great. Until you adjust for inflation. In real terms, you're earning about $95,000 in today's dollars. You spent 30 years climbing a ladder that barely moved. Now run the other scenario. You're 30. You take that same $75,000 salary, but instead of letting lifestyle inflate, You invest $20,000 a year into assets returning 10% annually. Not Bitcoin, not penny stocks. Boring index funds. The global economy's average return for a century. At 60, you don't have $182,000 in income. You have $3.6 million in assets, generating $360,000 a year in passive income. You didn't work harder. You didn't get lucky. You just played a different game. Exponential versus linear. Compounding versus addition. Your brain can't feel the difference. Not at first. Year 1, the salary person has more cash, more comfort, better vacations. The investor, eating ramen and driving a 10-year-old car. Year 5, still close. Year 10, the gap starts to show. Year 20, different planets. Year 30, different galaxies. But most people quit at year 3 because the linear path feels better early. It is better early. The exponential path feels like sacrifice. It is sacrifice. For a decade. Then the curves cross, and they never cross back. Thomas Stanley studied millionaires for 30 years, interviewed over 1,000 of them. His finding? 80% of millionaires are first-generation wealthy. They didn't inherit it. They built it. And they built it the same way. They lived below their means for 15 to 20 years while investing the difference. Not sexy, not fast, not comfortable, but mathematical, inevitable. Compound growth doesn't care about your feelings. It cares about time and rate of return. Give it both, and it prints money. Deny it either, and you stay linear. You stay middle class. You stay stuck. The tragedy of the middle-class salary is it's just enough to prevent the sacrifice. If you made $30,000, you'd be desperate. You'd take risks because you'd have no choice. If you made $300,000, you'd have surplus to invest. But $75,000? That's the dead zone. Enough to avoid desperation, not enough to create surplus without discipline. So you don't. You rent a decent apartment, lease a decent car, take decent vacations, and you never accumulate the capital that would free you. You're comfortable. Comfortable is the most expensive state in the world. Here's the brutal truth. Wealth is a math problem, not a morality play. It's not about deserving or working hard or being a good person. It's about the gap between what you earn and what you spend, multiplied by time and rate of return. That's it. Every other variable is noise. Your salary? Noise. Your job title? Noise. Your degree? Noise. The only number that matters is how much are you investing at what return for how long? Answer that and you know your financial future. Ignore it and you're just hoping. Hope isn't a strategy. The people who escape the middle-class trap don't have better jobs. They have better math. They earn $80,000 and spend $50,000. You earn $90,000 and spend $88,000. They invest the $30,000 gap. You invest the $2,000 gap. Over 20 years, they have $1.5 million. You have $100,000. Same neighborhood, same life stage, different math, different outcomes. The difference isn't income, it's the gap. And the gap is a choice. Your salary will never make you rich. Only assets make you rich. Salary is the fuel. Assets are the rocket. You're trying to reach orbit by stockpiling fuel on the launch pad. It doesn't work. You need to burn the fuel, convert it, transform it from liquid cash into appreciating assets. That transformation is the only thing that matters. Everything else is theater. The gravitational pull is strongest right now. You're reading this. Your brain is nodding. Yes, this makes sense. Tomorrow, you'll get your paycheck. Dopamine will hit. The bills will get paid. The pattern will repeat. Gravity will pull you back to baseline. This is where most people stay, aware of the trap, caught in it anyway. Because awareness isn't enough. You need escape velocity. And escape velocity requires violence. Not physical, financial. You have to rip yourself out of the comfort zone, force the sacrifice, automate the transformation before your brain talks you out of it. The door is open. The physics are on your side. Compound growth doesn't ask permission. It doesn't care about your fears or your friends' opinions or your family's expectations. It only asks for time and capital. Give it both, and it will carry you out of the atmosphere. Deny it either, and you'll spend your life looking up at the stars, wondering why you never launched. The rocket is built. The math is proven. The only question is whether you have the courage to light the fuse. Most won't. Most will read this, feel inspired for 48 hours, then return to the pattern. The paycheck will come. The bills will clear. The comfort will seduce. And 10 years will pass in what feels like 10 minutes. Then they'll be 40 or 50, still earning a salary, still trading time for money, still wondering why wealth feels impossible. It's not impossible. It's just exponential. And exponential curves look flat for years before they go vertical. You have to stay on the curve, through the flat years, through the doubt, through the moment your friends buy new cars and you're driving a 2012 Honda. That's the test. That's the gap between who builds wealth and who rents comfort. The middle-class salary isn't your enemy. It's your fuel. Use it like fuel. Burn it. Transform it. Launch. Or stay comfortable, stay safe, stay stuck. The gravity will hold you as long as you let it. Break free now or never. The choice has always been yours.